In this video, I'll show you the formula for how to overcome any objection without being pushy. The first part of the objection handling formula is to stay in the pocket and actually commit to handling the objection. When salespeople get hit with objections, most of them turn into yes men. For example, if a prospect needs to look over budget or finances, a lot of salespeople will say, okay, check over your finances and let me know if you want to move forward with this. Talk to you later. Don't let your prospect off that easily. Remember that if you're offering a good service or product, it is your moral obligation to sell your prospect to get them the results that they desire. For example, if you had the cure to cancer and your prospect was a cancer patient, it doesn't matter what objection they tell you or tell themselves, you need to give them your solution to help them out. After you've committed to staying in the pocket, you then need to acknowledge their objection. It can be as simple as saying something like, hey, totally understand if you need to check your budget. After all, I know you guys are ramping up for a busy fourth quarter and want to make sure you're in a good place. This is super important because it demonstrates empathy and that you have their best interest at heart. In addition, it makes them feel like they've been heard. In other words, by acknowledging their problem, you are building massive rapport. By acknowledging their objection, you're also implying that you aren't holding them hostage and trying to force them to buy. You're giving them an out. This is really important because if they feel like you're trying to corner them into buying, then they'll feel extremely resistant to you, and any objection handling strategies that you try to employ afterwards will fail. Here's the next step. You want to ask hard questions softly. For example, you can say something like, okay, just out of curiosity, and I realize this may be a sensitive question, but if you were to find that your budget won't allow for this, is there any way you guys could allocate the funds? The reason why you want to ask these hard questions is because they get your prospect to really challenge their existing thoughts about their own objections. It's completely possible that by asking them a question like this, they'll think for a moment and realize that they actually can move some money around and make the deal happen. But when you ask these hard questions, you need to be aware of your tone and speak with deference. In other words, you don't want to come across as being bossy or assumptive. You want to ask with humble submission and respect. Without the correct tone, your prospect is likely to feel attacked by your abrasive question and become defensive, which will make it impossible to handle any of their other objections. But if you use the correct tone, they'll feel more open to having their mind changed and will be much more likely to make the purchase. So, as a reminder, the 3 things you must do in order to handle any objections is to first, stay in the pocket, then acknowledge their objection, then ask hard questions in a soft way. Sometimes I've repeated this process 5 or 6 times in the same call with the same prospect, and after going through all of that, I was able to successfully move the needle and close the friggin' deal. Okay, so if you're in sales and want to add an additional 50 to 100K to your income, then click the link below, book a free strategy call with me. I'll diagnose your problems, get you clarity on what you need to do in order to overcome those barriers, and if it makes sense, I'll tell you more about how I can personally coach you. Click the link below to book your free strategy call with me, and I'll see you soon. Peace!